The day began with a massacre. The Sithari Dominion, scaled, cold-blooded conquerors who had ruled half a quadrant with talons sharpened in endless war, descended upon Haven's Reach, a human colony world barely 3 generations old. The attack was not strategic. It was not necessary. It was a message. The Sithari were testing humanity. They swept in with fleets dark as obsidian, obliterated orbital platforms, and burned down sprawling settlements with plasma bombardments. Forests became ash. Oceans boiled under kinetic strikes. Millions screamed as their homes disintegrated into firestorms. And when resistance came, brave human patrol ships scrambled. Civilian militias fought on the ground, but the Sithari laughed. They carved entire cities apart, leaving bones where families had stood, mocking the fragile creatures who thought they could stand against a predator race. On the broadcast sent across the stars, the Sithari warlord leaned into the transmission feed and sneered, "This is the fate of any who cling to weakness. Humanity, you are soft. You are prey. Bend the knee or be consumed." Haven's Reach fell in one night. The Dominion called it a cleansing. To humanity, it was a wound that would never close. The feast of mockery, the Sithari celebrated. Across their empire, feasts were held in the glowing light of burning human worlds. The Dominion's aristocrats raised chalices filled with the blood of conquered slaves and laughed at Earth's silence. They mocked the Terran ideals, compassion, diplomacy, restraint, as chains that would keep humans docile. "They will cry, but they will not strike," one Sithari commander boasted. Humans live on words, not weapons. In the war halls of the Dominion, they played recordings of Haven's Reach being annihilated, broadcasting the screams of human colonists as entertainment, and their warlord declared before the assembly, "Let it be known, the Terrans fear us. They hide in their blue world, too civilized to fight, too weak to bear their fangs." The galaxy listened. Many species, long fearful of humanity's slow but steady rise, nodded in agreement. Some pitied Earth. Others smirked at the thought of humans kneeling like so many before them. Silence came from Earth. No threats, no mobilization, no grand declarations. The Sithari mistook this silence for weakness. They could not know it was the calm before the storm, when silence shattered. The retaliation began not with warships, but with laughter. Strange transmissions rippled across Dominion space. On outer listening posts, Sithari soldiers heard it first. Human laughter, not mocking, not nervous. Deep, resonant, chilling laughter. It echoed through their comms without source or origin, layered, as though millions of voices were laughing together. "What is this noise?" barked one commander, but no answer came. On another station, a crewman clawed at his ears. "It's everywhere. It doesn't stop." The laughter spread faster than their sensors could track, slipping through encrypted channels, overriding broadcasts. It seemed to come from the void itself. It carried no words, only an endless echoing chorus of human voices laughing. The Dominion had mocked humanity, and now humanity mocked them back with something darker. And then came the words, spoken in unison across thousands of channels. "We are coming." That was when Dominion fleets detected movement on the Terran. Frontier ships that had not existed before appeared in swarms, carriers, dreadnoughts, war. Frigates with blackened hulls. The silence of Earth's response cracked open, and out poured fleets vast enough to blot out stars. The gathering storm, the Dominion had not understood. They thought Earth weak because it had not fought wars for empire. They mistook patience for fear, mercy for fragility. But humans had always prepared, quietly, steadily. For centuries they had stockpiled weapons, refined technologies, and hardened fleets in the shadows of peace. They built not for conquest, but for survival, and when survival was threatened, their arsenals awoke like slumbering titans. From Mars shipyards, Juggernaut-class dreadnoughts launched, cities of steel bristling with weapons arrays. From Luna, the resolute fleet burned engines toward Sithari borders. On Earth itself, the skies darkened as warships rose in unbroken chains, their engines igniting like suns. They did not send emissaries. They did not issue ultimatums. Humanity's answer was forged in silence, and now the silence was gone. The galaxy trembled as those who had mocked Earth saw the storm building. Fleets mobilized in numbers never before recorded in galactic history. Colonies volunteered soldiers by the millions. Weapons older civilizations had dismissed as too destructive, too ruthless, were armed without hesitation. Every ship carried one symbol painted on its hull, a circle of burning white. Haven's Reach, remembered. Retribution. Unleashed, the first Dominion world fell in an hour. Human fleets descended without warning, their warships cutting through defenses like paper. Sithari orbital cannons fired once before being silenced. Cities burned, yes, but it was precise, targeted fire. Humanity did not conquer. They erased. The Dominion's commanders scrambled fleets to respond, but every time they arrived, they found only wreckage, and the sound of laughter still playing through shattered comms. One Sithari fleet of 500 ships made a stand above Kareth Prime. They boasted it would be the grave of humanity's arrogance. Instead, it became their tomb. Human warships dropped from faster than light like meteors, 1,000 strong, dwarfing the Dominion's armada. They didn't fight like the galaxy expected. They fought with fury, burning ships at point-blank range, boarding enemy vessels with shock troops who fought like demons unleashed. The Sithari had believed themselves predators, but now, as human soldiers stormed their decks with war cries and laughter echoing in their helmets, the Dominion realized they had only ever been hunters of prey animals. This was different. This was war with apex predators, and Earth had no intention of stopping the fall of the Dominion. The campaign lasted months, but to the Dominion it felt like seconds. Every stronghold fell, every fleet burned. Entire sectors went dark as human warships advanced, relentless, merciless. Worlds that had once jeered at humanity's restraint now stared into the night sky, watching constellations vanish under human bombardments. The Sithari tried surrender. They begged, pleaded, offered reparations, tribute, slaves. But the humans did not negotiate. Not this time. When Dominion leaders broadcast pleas for peace, the only reply was laughter, layered, endless, until their channels collapsed under the weight of it. And when Earth's fleets finally reached the Dominion's throne world, they surrounded it in silence. Not one human word was spoken. Not one demand was made. The bombardment began, and the throne world ceased to exist within the hour. The Sithari Dominion, an empire thousands of years old, was reduced to ash by the species they had mocked as soft. The galaxies whisper in. The aftermath, the galaxy fell silent again. But this silence was different. Every empire, every council, every predator race that had once sneered at humanity now whispered the same words. Do not provoke Earth. The humans did not claim territory. They did not raise flags over conquered worlds. They did not seek to rule. They had taken vengeance, swift and absolute, and then they had stopped. The galaxy could not understand it. To fight with such fury, to annihilate an empire and then to walk away. But to humanity it was simple. Haven's Reach had been avenged. Humanity would return to silence, to patience, to waiting. But every species now knew the truth. Behind that silence lay an abyss of vengeance, and should the abyss be stirred again, should another race mistake Earth's restraint for weakness, they would hear it once more, the sound that spread fear faster than any fleet could fly. Human laughter. Epilogue. The eternal warning, across 1,000 worlds, survivors of the Dominion whispered their tale. They spoke of the laughter that haunted them, of fleets that blotted out suns, of soldiers who fought like the wrath of gods. Children were taught a single lesson: never awaken the humans. And so the legend spread, etched into the fabric of galactic history. Human patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite, and their laughter is the sound of empires dying.